Oh yeah, I hear them switching ammunition. They probably try to work the ridgeline. Good lead and fantastic. Jump, jump, jump. That's just fantastic. That's a great start. But you know what? Some things never change. They're only dead when they are disintegrated. It's more than just a simple fact. It's a religion. Death to helicopters. Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder aboard the WZ305, probably my favorite Chinese rank 5 vehicle of all time, and probably the best multi-function, multi-purpose vehicle of rank 5 overall. I mean, there are some great tanks out there, SPA, light tanks, heavy tanks, whatever, but this one kills them all, and I think that it is absolutely satisfying. Now, why is it so great? Well, basically you have a twin 75mm gun that is relatively quickly firing, and you have the great advantage compared to the ZSU 57-2 that you have proximity fuse HE shells, and they are really effective, not just for dropping helicopters and just let them explode violently, but also versus planes. Okay, and that has been its feature, I guess, for a very long time. But with this patch, Gachin thought it would be a genius idea to introduce also drones. And, not just the spotting drones, but also the revenge kill drones. And this tank just can effectively deal with all of them. Yes, in dealing versus flying things, I also could use an SPA, such as the Gepard or the Falcon or other, for example, radar SPA, but I think there is something really satisfying about dropping jets out of the sky like this. I love it. I love it. And I like to do this 24/7. Yes, the Type 69-2A is great. It's, as a tank, really great, but this is a kill them all vehicle. And you can both support your team as well as be efficient with grinding, because this is a tank that I actually spent Golden Eagles for a talisman on, and it is really effective and great ever since. That probably was a direct hit. Nice. I think that I have now finished the remaining grind on the AFT-09, battle rating 8.7, anti-tank missile carrier. I've seen people doing really well in that thing. Let me know in the comment section if you want to see a video on this. But in the future there will be mostly footage on the WMA 301, which I haven't featured in quite a while. There is an old video that by default I think is still relevant, where I then researched the ZLT-11 and the ZTZ-99A with, which are the two remaining tanks in the Chinese tech tree. And, the problem is here that the WZ305 is only rank 5, so for researching rank 7 it is highly inefficient. And yeah, this was a really, really cool scene. This guy must have been salty. He missed all his shots, and one shell from me was enough to delete him. And I had one battle remaining. And now, after the trouble is over, my teammate comes and helps me repairing, at least. And this was the first encounter where I actually got the opportunity to shoot at a drone. And there was one thing about drones, especially the reconnaissance drones, that is really important. First of all, the proximity fuse works also versus them, but I just can't lead my shells against them, and sometimes they are further away. I don't think that the rendering is optimal of those things, and also a later example will show that sometimes no lead at all is required, but then Chet thinks you're distracted and you just delete them out of the sky and you get a double kill, and that is all the more satisfying. So a bit later I did the meanest thing ever, because I saved a helicopter. I felt bad about that. And yeah, there is the example with the drone. I'm looking around, I just very often cannot see them. They're so tiny, and you can see I'm drastically overleading, and you have to fly them yourself. Do this in a test drive or in a custom battle, and look at this, no lead, and we evaporated with one shot. So they are surprisingly difficult to lead. Now, the next thing is, let's quickly talk about the anti-tank purposes, because Gaijin has also changed the symbol of the shells. And I think that this was a little bit misleading, because now they look like armor-piercing incendiary shells, but they are actually APCBC rounds. They're also going at 1,000 meters per second, 20 grams of TNT equivalent bursting charge, and up to 151 millimeters of penetration. So they are like a PT-7657, which by the way has some horrible pricing on the marketplace, and you have basically the twin gun of that version with proximity fuses. And you can do this to tanks, and I think that the twin barrel is just a massive advantage, even though you have the intra clip reload after 4 rounds. But you know, this here again shows how long sometimes the shell take. I don't know, was this guy so far away? Was I really misjudging the distance quite so heavily? Anyway, so I love to play this tank really in a chill mood, right? I don't drive in and try to wreak havoc, because you do not really have a stabilizer. You have a great vertical gun elevation speed, and that is obviously great for neutralizing some of the bumpy roads, but you shouldn't really rely on it. However, you go in with the second wave, or you take your time flanking, but then you are superbly effective. You are an absolute menace, and you must not be underestimated. If in the right situation, you just can be as effective as not many other tanks. And you also can defend yourself versus then revenge drones, planes and helicopters that try to smoke you out from your superior position. And that is an HE kill, yeah, on a WZ302. Fantastic. This tank is just fun. This tank brings balance to the battlefield, at least from my perspective. And to be honest, there are many tanks that are very similar, that just switch around with the gimmicks of thermal imaging, stabilizer, laser rangefinder, laser warning receiver, better and better ammunition, heat tandem warhead in the missiles, APFSDS, autoloaders, but this is also very much old school, and I think that is then again fitting perfectly into the lineup with the Type 69-2A, which I think is a fantastic, almost perfect compromise between old school and modern technology, together with the original Type 6. Well, I talked about the lineup already in the previous video, and I also think that the WZ305 can be easily used at higher battle ratings, and in my opinion it's even better than the PGZ09, basically the Chinese Gepard. And I think the proximity fuse really makes the difference in this tank. The proximity fuse is what makes this tank seemingly overpowered, whereas the ZSU-57-2 is mostly very useful versus tanks, but not so much versus helicopters, unless you score a direct hit, but then, you know, accuracy, rate of fire, reload, DPM is not in the favor of the ZSU-57-2. But the proximity fuses, they make the difference. And if you don't have this tank, get it. This is probably the gem of the Chinese tech tree. That's probably the reason why you should grind this. Unless the ZSU-57-2 at some point will get its proximity fuse. At the end, I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you could endure my at times horrible aim. And please subscribe to the channel. Also, hit the bell if you wanna see more of my videos more regularly, because that has recently been a problem. And obviously give the video a like. And as usual, let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are on this tank, fighting it, fighting with it, if you would like to get it, or if it's like, yeah, I would prefer a proper SPA or a proper tank destroyer. And as usual, we will see each other on the waves in the skies and on the battlefields of War Thunder.